Hello, welcome back to my channel. It's been a long time since I've actually done a real YouTube video where I have to edit it properly because I've been living on Twitch, but I wanted to get on here and finally answer the business questions I got from you guys. Now there's a lot, and how I'm going to do this is I thought about doing it randomly and seeing how long I talk about a specific topic. Or doing it like categorically, like specifically talking about one thing at a time. So I'm going to try that option first, and I'm going to talk about pricing in this video because it's the most asked question I got. How to set pricing, how much to charge, how to price shipping, and all of that. So first I'll start by saying what I do and what I think is the best option, because I think there's two main things you could do. You can price by creation, like how much you specifically think it's worth, or you can do hourly plus time and materials. Well, not plus time and materials, hourly plus materials. In the past, I have definitely priced awfully. I have not priced hourly. I've priced what I think other people are willing to pay. And you can do that, and I do that as well, depending on what I've created. But if you want to make a living, probably should do that. Okay, I'll say my clientele is college based, and I was a college student, so I know what the funds are like. So I don't expect to be charging, exactly what I'm worth, because I don't think it's realistic, and it's not really like. As far as like my business goes, it's not what I want for my business. Like, I don't want to just charge the most because I can. I want to be fair because I think art should be accessible. But that's to each his own, okay? So anyways, I charge by the hour. And how that works is, and the advice I'm giving to you, is I think you should at least look at the minimum wage of where you live. Like, I think it changes by city or county, I don't know. But look at the minimum wage of where you live. You should be making at the very least that. Like, do not charge less hourly minimum wage, because don't do it. Okay, because that's the bare minimum. I charge more than minimum wage for myself hourly, and that's because what I do is a skill. And that's how you should look at your business. Depending on what it is. Okay, it's a skill. Like, I'm an artist. I have years of experience doing what I do. It's not just about making something. For my business specifically, I make custom crochet clothing. So even making something to size for a random person out there in the world, that's a skill in itself, like a seamstress. Like, I can make something to fit anyone. That's a skill. So I should charge for that skill. Then I have to charge for that I can make something. That's another skill. So those are two skills I've combined. So I don't charge minimum wage, I charge slightly more. I don't know if I'm comfortable saying how much I charge hourly, but you could do the math and probably figure it out. It's not an astronomical amount, but I'll tell you this. The reason I started doing this, when I was in college, I changed my major like 11,000 times. But when I first, I live downtown, and there's lots of ambulances and fire trucks and motorcycles, so you probably hear them. I closed all the windows, but it's still extremely loud. Anyways, okay, so what was I saying? Basically, when I was in college, for the first part of college, I was studying to be an electrician and a motorcycle maintenance tech, like concurrently. Is that how you say it? Yeah, concurrently. And what we learned is that electricians start kind of in the $20 an hour range, because what they do is a skill, and it's only a 2-year program. It's not a 2-year degree; it's a 2-year like certificate. And I was thinking like, well, basically that's a skill. A lot of people need electricians, blah blah blah. So think of your art and your business as a skill. You're not going to be really making minimum wage doing it, because it's not something that you can just learn from like a couple hours of training. It's just something that you have to really dedicate your time to. So you want to price yourself according to that. I hope that made sense. So definitely get hourly in. So how this works for me is, when I'm designing something, I time it 100%. I need to know exactly how long it took me to make it. And even if I'm off a bit, I need to have a very, very solid idea of how long it took me to make, because I can't tell you how many times when I first when I made the transition from not just pricing randomly to pricing hourly, I was still undercutting myself because it was taking me longer than I thought because I wasn't timing right. But anyways, time your designs that you're making, and then factor in the cost of materials. So how this works for me is it's a lot of trial and error, really, but I have to kind of base it on, since I already was making things before I was charging the correct way for my business. I knew how much yarn cost. I knew how much I needed for a specific design because I didn't really change my designs at this time. So basically, I knew how much yarn costs, and I factor in not just the cost of yarn, but the tax of the yarn. Depending on where you live, it's going to be different. But I factor that up, and then I round up. So like, say if a yarn skein is $3.50 plus tax, it's like $4.80, or I don't know what kind of tax, but you know, it's something like that. I'll go $5 just in case, because things kind of fluctuate, and I want to make sure that the customer pays the full price for the materials, because I think that shipping and the cost of materials are the customer's responsibility. Now, it's funny that I say this because my business actually doesn't include this cost of materials anymore, mostly. If any of you guys follow me, you know that for the majority of the yarn I use is donated, or I find it at thrift stores. I don't purchase any more man-made fibers. So for those specific yarn orders, like people who order my surprise me items, they're getting this yarn. I don't charge for materials for it because of where I get it from. Like, I don't think it's fair that they pay for the materials and they don't really know where they're going to get. But for things that are brand new, like my organic cotton that I use, or any like bamboo cotton blends, anything that's basically not acrylic yarn, I do charge for materials. Okay, so shipping. This is another thing. The first probably like 2 or 3 years of my business, I was paying shipping out of pocket because I kept calculating it wrong. I had no idea what I was doing with that. Only in the last 2 years, I think, I got a scale, and I got a label printer, which is something you 100% want to invest in if you want to do this really, really home-based, like if you don't want to leave your house again. But also, when you print your labels from home, you're saving money, and this means that you can charge the customer less for shipping. They don't have to pay as much, and you don't have to pay as much, because shipping can get really expensive. But when you print your labels, you have to use certain websites, like, I don't know how to say this, but it's like Insidia. That's what I use. And stamps.com is another one. Basically, they give you like a kind of a discount through them, so that when you go to buy the label, you're not paying what you would pay at the post office, and you'll notice the difference because it's a huge difference. For pricing, if you are making handmade items, specifically, I should have said that from the beginning. If this is pricing for handmade items, okay, because I can't really speak towards anything else. Definitely charge hourly. Every second that you are working on your business is valuable. Definitely charge shipping, and for the cost of materials if you are doing it. If you are buying brand new materials, I think that you should factor that into your cost. Oh, also for shipping, definitely factor into the cost of supplies. I also charge my customers for the supplies for shipping. Like, that includes packages, tape if I need it, the labels that I need to restock up on, and anything like that, because that still is part of what they are purchasing. They're not just purchasing your design, they're also purchasing your like aesthetic, the way you package your materials, the safety of their purchase. And I'm not talking about like insurance like that, just the whole deal. It comes with everything. Now I want to give you ways that you can kind of package your whole product so it doesn't look like some big pricey item, you know, hourly plus materials plus shipping. Like, it can look hefty depending on who your market is. A lot of people don't want to pay handmade prices, so it's good. There are good strategies to use to make it not look so like shocking, I guess. this will vary across the board because some people will be like, oh, you don't charge enough, and then other people will be like, what, it's just handmade thing, like this is like, the materials are $2. Like, yeah, okay, the materials are $2, okay. Anyways, here's some tips that you can use to make your pricing not look scary, basically. I don't do these. I don't do some of these, but I've just seen other people do them, and I think that they could work. I've tried them before, but it just doesn't work for me. It's just too much. I'm extra. Anyways, so one thing you could do is put your shipping costs into the main price. Like, offer free shipping, but do not actually offer free shipping. Put shipping in the price. If you want to pay for shipping, by all means do it, but it is going to add up over time, like in a lot, especially if you're doing this is your full-time job. You do not want to pay for shipping. So, but to make it look like you're paying for shipping, put it in the price of the item. So if your item is $45 and shipping is $5, your item is now $50, you know. And there's something psychological about people, you know, when you get to checkout and you see shipping $6 or something, you're like, oh, do I really need this? You know, but if it says 0 down there, it's not so bad. I don't do this because my shipping's already low. I don't think I have expensive shipping at all. It's usually not more than $3, $3.50, depending on what you're buying for like one specific item. I think that's reasonable. Another thing to do is have discounts. I have my biggest discount right now that I've had that I'm not going to get rid of is that I offer 25% off for first-time customers. And this is like a banner on my website, and it gives like kind of incentive, like, oh, you're uncomfortable with handmade, you've never bought handmade before, you know, take 25% off, you know, try it out. I think that's, having sales like that is good incentive. The mistake I made when I first started it was having sales all the time, because I was doing it full time right away. I needed that income to come in real quick. So if I had like maybe a slowdown in customers or something, I would be having sales all the time. And I'd be having, I don't know how long whoever's watching this has followed me, but I used to have a ton of flash sales, which is a good strategy, but not always good for business, especially with handmade, because even though you're making quick dollars quickly, they're not the kind of dollars you deserve to be making. Like, you deserve your full money. So when you get to, like, let's say like you've made all this money quickly and you needed it, but you get to making those orders, you do not feel like you basically are not, you might not feel like the people paid. You're like, oh, they got this for dirt cheap. Like, and it kind of, it's demotivating to be working for less than you deserve. You'll find that out the longer you do it. Hopefully you don't. But anyways, sales are good. And I, like I said, don't have too many sales, because then people will wait for sales. Like, oh yeah, she has sales all the time. You know, I'm just going to wait until she has a sale. They're not going to want to pay full price. So, yes. What else can I say about pricing? I think that pretty much covers everything that I wanted to talk about with pricing. Please feel free to ask more questions. I plan on making a lot of videos like this where I can answer these kinds of questions, because I get them a lot. If you like this video, please feel free to subscribe or like the video physically with the button. My channel is kind of all over the place right now, and I kind of like it. I used to only really make you know, tutorials on here, but I have 1,000 interests, so it's just gonna be like that. If you have a problem with the randomness, probably don't want to be here anymore, I understand, but it works for me to do it this way. So if you're looking for a specific video about what I'm talking about, I am gonna have lots of playlists. You know, like if you just want crochet tutorials, there will be a playlist for that. There already is one. You know, if you like my gameplay, there's going to be a playlist for each one of those. And then, you know, these kinds of face-to-face business, whatever, answering questions, there'll be a playlist for these. So, you know, just look through there. I'm going to try to keep, as chaotic as it is, I will have pockets of organization. This is my life. It's already like this. It's chaotic here. I don't know if you can see what I'm dealing with, but it's chaotic, but it's organized chaos. So yes, leave your questions in the comments, and I'll either answer them there, or I'll make a video follow-up if I left anything out of this one. Thanks for watching.